Alright, it's September, it's fall. I really want to give you guys some of these older reviews that I've been talking about. Indiana Jones is coming soon because it's coming out on Blu-ray on the 18th. You'll get Lord of the Rings, I swear to you. But for right now, I've been on a Metal Gear Solid kick ever since the Ground Zeroes trailer, and I figure why not just play and review the entire series? So let's start out with Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid. Infinite ammo. So Metal Gear Solid came out in 1998 for the PlayStation 1, and it was a complete game changer in every way possible. Funny thing is, usually if a game maker's making a game years after the previous installments of the game, he'll just remake it. Metal Gear Solid would have been a remake of Metal Gear 1. But it's not, it's actually Chapter 3. The previous installments are Metal Gear 1 and 2 that were for the NES. Well, actually, Metal Gear 2 came out in Japan for the NES. We never got it in the USA. I played the shit out of Metal Gear, so when I heard they were making Metal Gear Solid in the 90s, I was like, what's happening? It was Christmas for me, so I kept up on this game and I got it the day it came out and I played the shit out of it so many times. I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory in Metal Gear 1 and 2 because you kind of gotta know about it. I won't take too long on it. Basically, in Metal Gear, you go to Outer Heaven, this place called Outer Heaven, because they have this nuclear-equipped walking battle tank called Metal Gear. You play as Solid Snake, you go in, you find this POW named Gray Fox, he befriends you, he kind of shows you the ropes, and then you get to the end, you beat Metal Gear, and then, oh crap, your commanding officer's actually the bad guy. His name is Big Boss. This is a pivotal character in the entire Metal Gear series. Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid. Pretty much the reason I'm telling you this. Big Boss has this eye patch also. He looks like a complete badass. You know, there's one of those old dude badasses where you're like, I wouldn't take you on because you could crush me with your big old man rock hands. You beat him and then you get to Metal Gear 2. There's this uprising in a place called Zanzibar. You go there, you find out your pal Gray Fox has turned to the other side. So you fight him, you beat him, and Big Boss is back. Then you beat him in Metal Gear 2 and you finally kill him. Snake goes into retirement. Now we have Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1, and shit's about to get real. In the Alaskan archipelago, there's a place called Shadow Moses Island, and there's a guy who looks just like Solid Snake. His name is Liquid Snake, and he's taking control of it. So Solid Snake's the only man who can take him down. You're immediately interested because you're like, who is this Liquid Snake? Why does he look just like Solid Snake, our hero? And on Shadow Moses, you find out, of course, the government is making a new Metal Gear. Now the terrorists want it. So you go in there and you enter one of the biggest game changers in video game history. I say that because it was a pivotal time for games, you know? Games were having that three-dimensional kind of feel to it. They were using polygons now, not sprites. But this was the game that really took it to the next level. If you have a tactical espionage type game now, Metal Gear Solid paved the way for that game. I believe Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six came out before Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear Solid was the triple threat. It had great gameplay, great voice acting, and it was all cinematic. It was like a playable movie. First of all, the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is completely superb. Again, it's commonplace now. You're like, oh yeah, games have good voice acting, but back then they didn't. You had Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. Or Resident Evil. What is this? Wow, what a mansion. The shit was bad. It was like game companies were like, hey, just throw voices on the screen. It doesn't have to be good. It's not like it's a movie or anything. Hideo Kojima, the brains behind the entire Metal Gear series, was like, nah, I'm gonna make myself a playable movie here. Now, there were a couple games that did have great voice acting before Metal Gear Solid. To me, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain was the first one where I was like, this is legit voice acting. But it goes beyond the voice acting in Metal Gear Solid. Games really didn't have that cinematic experience before Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid, you're playing and you're like, yeah, there are cutscenes and it has good camera angles and good dialogue and character interaction. The sad scenes in Metal Gear Solid are sad. That's what you need, you know? When someone gets shot, you can't just be like, oh yeah, the character died. Whatever. You have to be like, damn it. I feel what Snake feels, you know? Metal Gear Solid is the game that made cinematic style games commonplace. Now, of course, you gotta talk about the villains in this game. Usually, if a game is lucky, there will be one villain that's like, oh yeah, that's the coolest villain I've seen in a game all year. Metal Gear Solid had at least 3 of them that I can think of. The whole collection of Foxhound baddies in this game is the best ensemble I think I've ever seen in a game, period. In terms of bad guy ensembles, but the 3 that really stand out for me are, we're just gonna go straight for the throat here, Liquid Snake, first of all. The dude is intense. He has a grudge against Solid Snake. He feels that Solid Snake robbed him of all of his birthrights before he was even born. So you have that sibling rivalry aspect in the game, between Solid and Liquid Snake, but it's not just that petty. There are bigger things going on in Metal Gear Solid. I want to tell you about them, but I'm not going to, because it's worth playing if you haven't played it. The next one is Revolver Ocelot. I love Colt Single Action Army revolvers. The reason that this love for those type of pistols started was because of Metal Gear Solid. Revolver Ocelot comes out and he's swinging this thing around. He's twirling his revolver like he's Doc Holliday or something. I was like, this dude's a badass. No one really knew that Revolver Ocelot would be the iconic character of the entire Metal Gear Solid series, but in terms of Metal Gear Solid 1, he's just a really cool bad guy. Another one's the Cyborg Ninja. There's this ninja with a katana sword that can turn invisible like the Predator and slice the living shit out of everyone. He deflects bullets with his sword. That already sounds awesome. He would be cool as hell if he didn't actually have any relevance. But he does have relevance. He has relevance to Snake's story. He ties into the older Metal Gear games, but even if you haven't played those games, you feel the connection between him and Solid Snake. There's this one scene, this might be a spoiler, but this dude's on the ground and he's telling Snake to kill him, and you have Snake's field of vision. You're like, oh yeah, I could just waste him right now. But if you try to kill him, you hear Snake go, no, I can't do it. When you can feel a connection between two characters like that in a video game from 1998, now, I played it last week and I was like, dude, this is shaking me up. This is rough. This is real, man. It's heavy. The game officially hits timeless status right there. The most memorable boss fight in the entire game is Psycho Mantis. The dude's a psychic. You try to shoot at him and he'll dodge every bullet. You need to find out how to shoot at him without him reading your mind. How you do it is just so out of the box. You can tell Hideo Kojima, the maker of the entire series, is like, I want them to think outside the box. I thought it was really cool. It was really innovative, and the character was cool. He'll be like, let me read your mind. You like Castlevania? He reads your memory card and sees what saves you have on there, but it was really cool. I mean, it was how you use gimmicks in games. Just a cool little extra. And I even like Otacon. Now, Otacon and Snake are this odd duo, this odd pair that ends up happening in Metal Gear Solid. They're going to become one of the coolest heroic duos ever in games. But they meet in this game and Snake's all like, get a hold of yourself, pull yourself together. You know, he's rough, he's the military guy. Otacon's not like that. He pissed himself when the Cyborg Ninja was coming towards him. Otacon's not the fight in battle type of guy, but I like that because Snake's like, yeah, just take off, leave, I'll take it from here. Otacon's just like, nah, I need to help fix this because they used me, so I'm gonna help you out. He could die, he knows it, but he sticks around. I like it when common people step up. Now, in terms of the gameplay, it was revolutionary back in the day, still fun to play now, but there are some features and functions that you're used to now. You're like, I could go for some of those modern functions. There's no first-person mode. You can't aim at someone's head in first-person mode and just take them out. It's a third-person sneaking game, and you just 1, 2, 3 shoot and kill people. They did make Metal Gear Solid the Twin Snakes for the GameCube, in which it had Metal Gear Solid 2's gameplay, in which you could do first-person mode. Very cool feature, but that's not the game I'm reviewing. The one that I consider Hideo Kojima's masterpiece is Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation 1. I'm reviewing that. And when people see you, you're screwed. When someone sees you, it's startling as hell in a Metal Gear Solid game. You're sneaking, it's quiet, and also someone sees you and that exclamation mark goes off above their head and it's like, BRAW! You turn around and there are like 5 guys with machine guns just wasting you. You're probably gonna die if that happens, but it is forgiving in the sense that the alert phase only lasts like 10 seconds. You just have to be out of their field of vision for 10 seconds. They don't know where you are for 10 seconds, they'll be like, all right, go away, return to your positions. We've already forgotten about them. We're like dogs. Unrealistic, yes, but I'm thankful for it. It's also unrealistic. I can't aim at their heads and just pick them off. So, you know, unrealistic balances out. You get an impressive array of weapons in this game, but let's face it, your best weapon in Metal Gear Solid is your bare hands, because the funnest way to kill someone is come up behind them and just put them in a headlock and break their neck. Yeah, before Metal Gear Solid, that really wasn't a pastime to do in a video game, but hey, Metal Gear Solid brought it to us. It's been fun ever since. In the end, Metal Gear Solid was revolutionary for its time. It was a triple threat. This was the game that was the reason to get a PlayStation 1. Other games did not stand a chance against Metal Gear Solid. Some of the gameplay elements are not up to date, no first-person mode, and the sniper rifle, apparently when you use it, you have Parkinson's disease. And a really good and intriguing and deep story. You'll play through this game a few times. The gameplay may not be modern, but it's not completely out-of-date bullshit either. You can still play it and have fun. And the characters have really good stories. Like, even your support team that you don't even meet on the battlefield, you talk to them through the codec radio, they have fleshed out backstories. They have good interaction with Snake. Some like them, some don't like them. And you feel the emotion of all of it. It's definitely worth the $10 on the PlayStation Network it costs to download. So yeah, go ahead and download that. $10 well spent for sure. Metal Gear Solid definitely is awesome-tacular. I put a link for a trailer from Metal Gear Solid below. I can't understand one word in it, but you can watch it and you're like, I get the emotion. I get what they're going for. The song is awesome. The music in Metal Gear Solid 1 is just, it's great music. And the song The Best Is Yet to Come, which is in this trailer, is the end credits song in Metal Gear Solid, and I love it to death. I have it on my iPod. And if I'm gonna plug my own shit, I put a link below to the first video I ever actually did, which was me stitching together Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes footage to the audio for the 300 movie trailer. It was a big thing to do back in 2006, so I did it, and it was fun. But if you have to pick one video to watch the trailer to Metal Gear Solid because it's great. So your favorite video game villain of all time, what is it? Whatever it may be, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.